What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. I'm glad to have you guys back. This episode is about to be lit. What I'm about to speak upon is going to be interesting for a lot of you guys out there who actually watch hoop. We got teams in the East that are pretty close to each other as far as seeding. We got teams in the West jockeying to get to the 3, 4, 5 seed because we know the top 2 is heavy and they're separated. We got breaking news in the NBA. We got players that are in trade discussions. Teams are trying to get who and who. I'll break that stuff down to you. So for the next 20, 30 minutes, kick it with us. And then I got a lot of stuff to tell you. So stay tuned. Until then, hit the intro.
All my life, sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Ball Dnt Lie podcast. This is your boy Dexter, your host, the one and only. Welcome back to another show. Man, the NBA has been great. I know there's a lot of injuries out there. There's some players that are not even in the league right now, and you got players that are trying to get traded, and you got certain teams that are like, what's really going on? They're dysfunctional. Then you have the top 2 who's actually leading the whole entire league as far as the Dub Nation Warriors, and then you got the Phoenix Suns in the Valley. But overall, the NBA is pretty solid this year compared to other years. There's no certain gaps in between certain teams. Like I said, the Warriors and them they're solidified. They already ahead of everybody, right? But you have a lot of other teams that is in the mix to make the playoffs. You got teams that are in the 9 and 10 spot on both sides of the conference that can jump in, right? So NBA is solid this year. This month's gonna be crazy. We got Christmas games to talk about, right? Or actually, that's gonna be in the next episode. But it's gonna be lit. This month is gonna make or break for a lot of teams. Right? Decisions are going to be made. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. I hope you're all having a good time. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving weekend. I hope y'all enjoying December. I know a lot of kids who be watching this or in college are about to get their winter break. So I hope y'all be safe out there. COVID ain't no joke. You heard about the whole new variant. So I hope y'all stay safe out there. You know, it's been pretty interesting this year as far as basketball. So I'm going to go ahead and break that stuff down to you. It's interesting. I can't fathom how I'm excited about it. But enough of all that. You can catch me on all the socials out there. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram. You can catch me on TikTok. You know, on YouTube, Facebook at Ball Dnt Lie. Don't be shy now. Don't be shy. Come hit me up on the gram. If you got any comments about any episodes I drop or anything about the NBA, hit me up. And if you want to catch this on YouTube or on IGTV, like I said, it's at Ball Dnt Lie, BALLDNT LIE. All the links will be in the bottom. We're on every single streaming platform out there, so you can catch us on the audio route as well. But most of you already know that right now. If y'all new to the channel, like I said, don't be shy. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button at the bottom. Thumbs up if you can. Man, any sub would be great, right? Because this show is about to be lit this year. A lot of things about to change this season. And it's in the works right now, so stay tuned. And for the ones that have been watching, can't thank you enough. So all that being said, let's just go ahead and dive into the whole situation. Hit it.
News and notes from around association.
So first we're going to talk about the Ben Simmons situation because that's been off and on. It's been hot and cold, right? But at this point, I think the Sixers already know, like, there's no coming back from this. Like, in the beginning of the year, you know, I was still saying it from the rip. There's no way Ben Simmons will come back and play for the Sixers. All the stuff that he's been doing up to this point, right, is to cover his butt as far as trying to get paid because he's losing by almost $400,000 every game check, right? So if he doesn't participate in any fashion, right, if he doesn't come to the games, if he doesn't practice, if he doesn't come to the training, all the yada, 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 right, then they can go ahead and dock him for those games. So Ben Simmons is playing that role, shows up. Then when they got serious about it, he's like, I got mental issues, right? Like, that's what he's been telling people. Then they say, okay, let's get the in-house doctors. He's like, nah, I don't want none of that. I'm going to get my own doctor, a third party, outside of Philly. Then they say, okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and dock you game checks. So the Ben Simmons trade momentum as of right now, December 11th, it's heated up right now. It's heating up. The reason why is because December 15th, is when you're allowed to trade players. Keep this in mind. You can trade players who just signed their contract in the offseason. Doesn't matter if it's an extension or you're a free agent signing. So I'm going to give you an example, right? Lonzo Ball or DeRozan, right, who went to the Chicago Bulls. Let's say it didn't work out for them, hypothetically. By December 15th of any year, the players sign a contract, either a new one or they get an extension, then teams can trade them by December 15th and after. So that's about 60% of the league, I'm assuming. 60% of the league or so or higher are either signing re-ups, extensions, or they're getting a contract. So that means by December 15th, which is in a couple of days, you're allowed to trade certain players. And why I'm bringing that up is because before the Sixers were pretty much stuck in a situation. If they want to trade for DeRozan, this is just hypothetically, this is an example. If they want to trade for DeRozan, or let's say Kyle Lowry, or somebody else, yada, 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 right? They couldn't do it until December 15th. And this is 3 months ago, right? So they were stuck in a limbo. They're only allowed to trade for certain players. So now the window has opened. Now they can extend, their looks, throughout the whole entire NBA now, the whole spectrum of the NBA. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to trade for somebody. That player would have to be a top 25 player. They know they can't get a 1-for-1. They cannot get a top 5 player. That makes no sense. Ben Simmons is not even top 10, right? And if you want to argue about the top, 10 to 20, that's up to you guys. What y'all think about Ben Simmons? Where he should be ranked at? I believe it's past 30. That's my opinion. Some might argue that, but that's not the point. So they're trying to get back a top 25 player, which is not even equal to Ben Simmons. Yeah, you trading for potential and longevity, and he's young. I get that, right? But no one's been fooled up to this point. Because if that was the case, they would have been calling Philly and trying to get him a while ago. So the momentum is being picked up. This is the crazy story. So they've been talking with the Blazers for how long? Damian Lillard has been talked about getting traded since the NBA when they're in Japan for the Olympics, right? Was it the Olympics? I believe it was, right? It was for FIBA for Olympics. I forgot what it was. But Team USA, when he was with Team USA, it's been talked about. He shut that down real quick. Told them, hey, I'm not there for it. Straight up, I'm not there for it, right? So it was the Olympics. But going back now, Dame's been talked about this whole entire season about getting traded. He's been saying, hey, I'm loyal to Portland. I ain't leaving this city, a.k.a. Weird City. That's what it's been called, the Rip City, the Rose, whatever you want to call it. He ain't leaving the state of Oregon, right? So the GM, who's been in headlines, right, Neil O'Shea, has been fired, has been dismissed by the team. So they hired Joe Cronin to be the interim GM. So the whole new regime that came in was like, hey, we're going to definitely change this team. Because Neil O'Shea wasn't that kind of guy. He was trying to basically keep the same continuity with players and the same personnel. Every year they kept losing. Nothing really changes. No major pieces are coming in. Like, okay, I get it. You got, if you got Norman Powell from Toronto Raptors, I understand that. But he's not a big piece. He's not going to change your team. He's not a game changer, right? He's just a piece of the puzzle. He's more of like a rotational role player kind of guy. He did not start in Toronto. You understand that, right? A guy came off the bench for most of his years. So getting this whole new regime in Portland, they're trying to make a splash in the trade market sometime now until trade deadline in February. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I know for sure Ben Simmons, based off of reports coming out, Ben Simmons is definitely on top of their target, who they're looking for. Obviously, Dame's been, they told Philly from the rip, hey, even this new regime, Dame's not in the picture. So that's out, right? So they're gonna have to figure out how they can get Ben Simmons here. Ben did come out publicly and said he would love to play with Ben Simmons. That's duly noted. Then you have Luka Doncic saying the same thing. So you have other players now picking up like, hey, yeah, we need you. Dallas Mavericks, right? They started slow in the season. So obviously you would love to have Ben Simmons on your team because Luka can't play defense, right? And you can add another piece like that. So there's teams out there that would love to have Ben Simmons to play with them. And Portland, imagine you get Ben Simmons on that team with Dame. It's not a big difference as far as increasing your value to be a contender, but it does make you interesting for an upset. So you might upset somebody. Who knows? So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for that. That's still ongoing. And like I said, Dame's not included in the package. Going on, Isaiah Thomas, IT, right? Who used to play for the Celtics, played for the Phoenix Suns, Pelicans, Lakers, Kings, right? IT. He's getting another shot at the NBA, but this time he's actually going to go to the NBA G League Showcase that's going to be happening between December 17th to December 22nd. So hopefully he does get into the G League and maybe another shot to the NBA, but he's obviously being blackballed. I don't know why no team wants to sign Isaiah Thomas. The dude can score. I know he had a hip issue that took a couple of years for him to recover, but IT is fully back to what he was prior to that. And if you don't believe me, look at his highlights recently. But going forward, and then I think that's going to happen in Vegas, I believe. So going forward, breaking news in the NBA, Zion Williamson, I'm not sure what's going on in New Orleans. To me, this is a head scratcher. Man, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, and I blame this on both sides. You're supposed to hire a nutritionist for your players, right? You have to do that, especially your franchise player. Hire somebody. Put him in the weight room, right? Zion Williamson should not be excessive weight. We know what he is. People want to argue that online or not. 300 pounds, 280, whatever it may be. The dude is too big for his size. Dude is not a 7-footer. Guy can't bang the in the paint like that physically. It will just deteriorate your body. It's impossible for a physique like that. They all break down. Like Shaq was just gifted. He was a 7-footer, but he was 300. You have Zion Williamson who's 4 or 5 inches shorter than Shaq. And he weighs the same as Shaq or Charles Barkley. So I don't know what's going on. I personally should believe they should shut him down for the whole entire year because it doesn't make any sense. The Pelicans ain't going nowhere this year, with Zion or not. Especially Zion would have to get back into game shape. Zion would have to lose and shed some weight, right? That's not going to happen and make your team better. Zion, to me, is just throwing away his career. How you miss more games than you actually played? And you only been in the league for, 3 years or so? You missed 85, 86, 87 games, and you only played 85 of those games? This is totally an embarrassment. I don't know if this is more of a setup. We know what's going on with his pops. He doesn't want Zion to be in the New Orleans market. He wants to be out of there. But this is not the way to go. You're not supposed to hurt yourself in your career. And I know he's coming back from a surgically repaired foot, but he had too many setbacks. His surgery was months ago, before the summer. So I don't understand why that I get it. You can't be in your foot. You're going to gain weight. But you're not supposed to eat the fridge while you're resting and trying to rehab. So get that message to Zion somehow. Hit him up on Instagram. I don't get it. I feel sorry for dude. You're a young kid. Don't throw away your whole entire career. Imagine when he came out in the draft, everybody was arguing about him or John Morant. And now fast forward. Luckily, Memphis is like, dang, we got John Morant. We're good. Imagine if they had Zion. Imagine if John Morant went to the Pelicans. Imagine that. So I hope he gets better, man, for real. Like that, it's just sad to see somebody that young, that talented, that gifted. You seen his body at Duke. Dude's more lean, more agile. Comes to the NBA, overshaped in his rookie year. I don't want to dive deep into it, but you know the rest of the story. So to me, it's just much of an embarrassment. Hope he gets better, though, for real. Jason Tatum, I'm happy for Jason Tatum. And I know some of you guys who watch my podcast and listen to my podcast are Celtic fans. But Jason Tatum finally got a signature shoe with Jordan. It's about time. I've been scratching my head like, I don't understand why Tatum, who was signed to Jordan, like, doesn't even have his own shoe. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I get it. It might take time, whatever. But Jason Tatum is one of the top players in the league. And I'm saying top, I'm not talking about top 3, but he's one of the most talented players in the league. And he's by far the best player in the Celtics. And he's the franchise and he's the face. So big ups to Jason Tatum for that. Hopefully, Enes Kanter doesn't get on his case because he has issues with Nike and Jordan. But I'll go ahead and break that stuff down to you in a second, which I think is kind of a attention grabber. But we'll see what happens, And the Pacers are looking to deal Miles Turner. And this is the crazy part. It's like they're using him as a role player. I don't get it. So Sabonis is at the center in most games. But, Miles, either he will start and plays role player minutes, or he comes off the bench and still plays the same kind of minutes, role player. So he doesn't want to be that kind of guy. And then there's been talks about him trying to get traded since the summertime, before the season started. So Miles Turner will not be a Pacer, definitely not past the trade deadline, for sure. It's not happening. So the Lakers are interested. The Lakers are interested in 2 players on the Pacers, Lamb and Turner. So we'll see what happens, who they're going to get. Lakers are interested in a lot of pieces. That's how they are every single year. They're trying to add more to the fire punch they have, which is a debacle, right? It's embarrassing what's going on in L.A., especially all the Laker fans out there who are delusional and can't see past the lens, cannot see past LeBron James. LeBron James is carrying the team, but AD and those guys, they ain't show up. But that's besides the point. I ain't going to talk about that. Miles Turner might be traded sooner than rather, but if not, the trade deadline, we'll be definitely on that. So going back to the Celtics center, Enes Kanter Freedom. This is the crazy part. I understand what he's trying to do. That's the crazy part. I understand what he's trying to do. But the platform that he's been given, is you're not supposed to use people like LeBron James and Michael Jordan and other players to leverage what you're trying to send a message. LeBron James is not going to pay you no mind. No mind. You know why? Because LeBron is up here and Enes Kanter Freedom, you're right here. And if you had an issue with LeBron James and you had issues with what's going on in China, that's a separate situation. LeBron has nothing to do with what's going on in China. And I'm not saying what China's doing is absolutely correct. It's 100% inhumane. Like what they're doing to Muslim, Chinese, or Asian descent people is totally like what the Jews went through in a sense. What the whole Nazi thing in Germany. It's almost damn near similar. And I'm not here to be in politics. That's not me. But if you're in concentration camps, you ripped away your rights, and no one can find who you are, your family can't find you, then what they do in China is actually inhumane. But I'm not here to talk about that. But what Enes Kanter is doing is that he's trying to underthrow people who are quote unquote in the league brotherhood, right? These are your colleagues, right? You don't do that to LeBron James because he is the face. He is the face of Nike, and he has a lot of pull. And Enes Kanter, the way he's going, no disrespect, you have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, right? But people get blackballed. We see what happened with Allen Iverson when he was that kind of guy, but he was so talented. And when he diminished a little bit, Iverson couldn't find a job in the league, right? We see what happened with, what's his name? I forgot the center. Miles Leonard, who played for the Portland Blazers, right? He came out of Illinois, 7-footer that shoots threes. He went to Miami. He was playing online, either Call of Duty or something, or Fortnite, and he said some racial remark about Jewish people. What happened to him? He got exiled. So I'm not saying anything. It's not close to this. Obviously, what he's saying is pretty much the truth. But buying LeBron shoes and writing stuff on there to send a message, that is totally you. You buy the shoes, that is you. But what I'm saying is that the message that you're trying to do, implying other players, is it's not going to work that way. And I'm going to give you an example. This is what he said, and I'm going to read this. Enes Kanter Freedom. Freedom is what his last name is changed to when he became a citizen a little over less than 2 weeks ago. So Enes Kanter Freedom said that many of the black athletes in the NBA are telling him to call out LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Call out black athletes are going to come up to them and say, hey, call out these guys. Who is those athletes? You tell me what black athlete is going to go to Enes Kanter to call him out about a political thing and something that's inhumane that's going on in China. Who is that player? To me, it sounds like fake news. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to build up a momentum in a sense to make it seem like, oh my God, people are trying to out LeBron James, right? Ostracize LeBron James. Doesn't make any sense. Michael Jordan doesn't make any sense. So Enes Kanter, if you want to go at people, just make sure you can take the flack. Long term, the Celtics, they got banned in China for what you said. They're losing international revenue streaming rights. They're losing merchandise, revenue for a player they signed to be a role player. So be careful about what you do, Boston Celtics, or any team after that. If you sign Enes Kanter, know what you're walking into. Because at the end of the day, he has the right to say what he wants. But at the same time, if you're doing this to a certain team or a certain player in that trend, you kind of get exiled. So hopefully, going forward, Enes Kanter, I hope you're doing the right thing, bro. Like, I get it, what you trying to do on Fox News, and you became a citizen. I'm happy for you that you became a citizen. But remember, like, there's consequences to certain things. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And even though you said stuff about Jeremy Lin being a Chinese descent and being from Taiwan, right? Taiwan descent or a nationality. The guy was born in Palo Alto, California. Dude's from Cali, born here. I played against Jeremy Lin back in my days in high school. Like, dude's American. So I don't get how you throw him in the mix, but I'm gonna leave it at that. So going forward, Cavs big man. This is a crazy story. So Cavs big man, Larry Marketing, right? I used to play in the Bulls, got traded to the Cavs, right? May need to serve in the military in Finland, his home country, which is crazy because over there is a requirement. If you are up to the age of 28, men, you're required to serve sometime in the military, right? It could be 165 days or half a year or a year. And it's a requirement. There's no way around it. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. There's talks about he might do it, but it's gonna affect his playing season next year because it's about 165 days or so, roughly around there, or like a half a year. And I believe it starts April 11th or April 15th of 2022. That's right when the season ends. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not a big deal. It's not they're going to deploy him to war. Finland doesn't really go to war. You might just have to do some type of military training in your home country. So yeah, that's interesting that an NBA player would have to be required to do that. Larry Marketing. So hopefully it doesn't impact him that way. I hope he stays here in stateside. But I understand that countries do have requirements if you are a citizen or you from that country. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep that in mind down the road. This is interesting. I'm so glad that Tyreke Evans is trying to come back to the NBA. We need Tyreke Evans. We need, Lance Stevenson. We need those guys. Tyreke is a bad boy. Like, I don't know what happened to dude. I know he played on the Pacers for a little bit, but man, like, where did he go? Like, everybody's going to say, oh, he's a scrub. He's this and that. Dude was the rookie of the year. Played for Sacramento. I know he played for Memphis for a little bit, and he played in, as a Pacer. Tyreke Evans is a baller. So he's eyeing a comeback. So I'm going to definitely keep you in tabs on that because we definitely need that. Lance Stevenson, big up to him. He's somewhere in the G League, so I think he's eyeing a comeback as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Going forward, the Warriors head coach Steve Kerr has been selected to be the next head coach for Team USA going forward. So Coach Pop stepped down. He hung it up, said, I'm done. Well-deserved. He did a great job over his time. But Steve Kerr is going to up this whole Team USA. I'll tell you that right now. If you see how the Warriors are running their offense, he's going to implement the same thing for Team USA. I'm not, no disrespect to, Coach Pop, but Coach Pop is more, he's more fundamental when it comes to scheming on offense and defense. But Steve Kerr, his offense is modern-day offense. Like, run flare screens and back doors and, motion offense, right? That's going to get a lot of players open. And he has the final say on selection, like who he can add to the team. So I expect Steph Curry to be on Team USA next time. So that's big ups to him. He'll be a head coach for the 2023 World Cup and the 2024 Olympics in Paris. So in the next couple of years, we'll see him in the Team USA, new strategy, new implementation, all kinds of stuff. So that's good. And the Warriors, even though they lost to the Sixers tonight, it was a hell of a game. Big up to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're doing great without Ben Simmons, but that's short term, right? But the East is pretty close. But as of right now, you have the top two teams in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors have the best defense, net rating, advanced stats, best offense, best defense in the league. And guess who's runner up second? the Phoenix Suns, both in those categories. So it's fun to see those two teams fighting back and forth. Right now, as we speak, the Phoenix Suns are the number one team in the NBA because the Warriors lost. And then they have 5 losses in the category, I believe, and the Phoenix Suns have 4. So we'll see what happens with Phoenix. But besides that, if you look at the standings, oh my God, let me pull this up for you guys because it is damn near close for a lot of teams in the East. The East is pretty close. I haven't seen the East like this since the 90s. Like literally, the East has better teams closer as far as game wise than the West. Like right now, if you put the Lakers in the East right now with their record, they're like a 7 seed, right, or 8 seed or somewhere around there, I believe. But it's so close, and I know it's early in the year, but I haven't seen that in a while. So let me go ahead and pull up these stats for you guys. So here we go. Nets, Bucks, Bulls, Heat, Cavs, Sixers, Wizards, Hornets. So the Cavs right now are in 5th place, and they're 16-12. Imagine that, right? If you go to the West, if you look at a 16-12 team, or damn near that, that's Grizzlies in 4th place. 4th place. So if the Cavs were in the West, they'll be 4th place right now, which is insane, right? Or they'll be 4th or 5th. But right now, it's pretty close. I'm going to post this whole ranking on top of it here as of right now. It's kind of early. But if you look at the East right now, I'm going to point out for you guys. So if you look at it from 1st place to 8th place, it's 3 games in between. So if the Hornets win 3 games straight, they're tied for 1st. In a sense, right? Because the Nets would have to obviously lose games. And how they look at things, they look at the loss category in a sense. So, it's interesting. Bulls, Heat, Cavs, Wizards, Hornets, all in the mix. Teams that are kind of surprising at the bottom are the Knicks, Celtics, Hawks. I don't know what's going on with Boston. But that's a whole nother episode to talk about. Raptors, they all kind of fell back behind a little bit. And if you go to the West, you obviously got the Phoenix Suns right now, the Warriors, Jazz, Grizzlies, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, Mavs, Trailblazers, Timberwolves, Kings. So Kings between the 4th spot and the 11th spot, it's only 5 games, 4 or 5 games. So if the Kings win 4 or 5 games in a row, they're definitely fighting for 4 and 5 seed right now. And then you got the Rockets who just went on a 7-game winning streak. So that's interesting to see. So obviously, the NBA is solid this year. The NBA is solid. You cannot complain about it. Every game on TV is close, is neck to neck. No one's really getting waxed like that. You know, teams like OKC's over here beating certain teams. You know, you got the Rockets who were pretty much a team that have not won a game. I think they were like 1 in something, and then they won 7 games in a row. So NBA is exciting this year. I'm glad to be enjoying it. I hope y'all having a good time watching as well. It's been lit, man. Hey, if you're not subscribed to this channel at this point, man, I don't know what's going on in your life, but go ahead and just tune in. Hit the subscribe button right there in the bottom. Tune into the show. We stream everywhere. Podcast or audio or video. We're all here. So stay tuned. I got another episode dropping in less than 48 hours. We're going to be talking about the Lakers and how dysfunctional they are. And we trying to figure out what I can dissect. I'm going to tell you exactly what certain things they could implement to change everything about the Lakers and how they can rip games in a row and then hopefully jump to the 3rd seed. But until then, y'all be safe out there. Enjoy your December month. I know a lot of places are cold right now, but in Cali, we're in T-shirts, bruh. Until then, y'all be safe, man. Peace.